Hi, third graders. What'd you think of chapter 7? Did you feel bad for poor Ramona getting sick at school? I'm sure many of you can relate. It's something that just happens. All right, as we're moving on to chapter 8 is called or titled Ramona's Book Report. So here is a chapter about Ramona doing her book report that you kind of heard about at the end of chapter 7. Let's look at our vocabulary words and our vocabulary assignment. You're going to find these words and you're going to write the sentence that you found it in the text and how it's being used. The first word is accuracy. It's a noun and it means the state of being correct. State of being correct. So your teachers always are looking for accuracy in your work to make sure you have those capitals and periods. In your math problems, making sure you're solving it correctly, that all ties into the word accuracy. The next word is flustered. Flustered is a verb and it means to make agitated or confused. That's a familiar feeling for all of us as well. Just when I was videotaping the last one, I got a little flustered because the dog was running around trying to jump on the couch when I was recording this lesson for you. I started to get flustered and actually a little distracted and confused. All right, our third word is suppressing, and that's a verb, and that's to forcefully put an end to. When you suppress something, you almost are stopping it. And our last word is seized. Seized is also a verb, and it means to make a gesture with a hand to encourage someone to come. Okie doke, so look for those in your text and write the sentence that you found them in the novel in chapter 8. All right, let's look at your comprehension activity. All right, number 1, what is your favorite book? You're going to answer this in complete sentences. What is your favorite book? My favorite book is. Well, gosh, I couldn't pick one. I've been reading so much lately since we've been at home. Next question. Draw a scene of a commercial you could create for your favorite book. So if you were thinking about your very favorite book and you were going to draw a commercial, who or what would be in your commercial? Draw one scene that you could imagine in your head. And the last question, Ramona's family had quite a few worries. What are some things you worry about? We all have worries, and that's a very, very normal feeling. Let's write about some of ours in this last question. And the last question on the second page. Ramona spoke to Mrs. Whaley about being called a nuisance. What was Mrs. Whaley's explanation for calling her a nuisance? So why did Mrs. Whaley say that? What did she really mean? I hope you learned about that in this chapter because it does give some peace to Ramona. And the last activity at the very bottom is a Venn diagram. And you're going to compare your teacher to Mrs. Whaley. What are some things they have in common that they both do? You can put in the middle. 3 things that Mrs. Whaley does on her side of the Venn diagram, and 3 things that make your teacher unique under your teacher's side of the Venn diagram. So it's always fun to compare and contrast. So here is just a little Venn diagram to compare your teacher to Mrs. Whaley. Please make sure you have 3 bullet points under your teacher, 3 bullet points under both teachers, what they have in common, and 3 things that just Mrs. Whaley does. So that's a fun little activity to end chapter 8. Next week, boys and girls, we only have one more chapter, chapter 9, and that is titled Rainy Sunday. It's a good end to the book. You're going to enjoy it. So next week will be Rainy Sunday, and then we'll do some wrap-up activities because next week actually is our very last week of distance learning. Again, I know your teachers tell you this, and I'm going to say it to you one more time. Keep up the hard work. We are so proud of you. So proud of you for rising to the occasion during this type of learning. Keep up the good work and enjoy chapter 8.